What's up, my friends? It's the O Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, CW, and today let's make a title. Huh? You want to make a title together? You want to build a brand new title and division for not only just WWE, but any wrestling company. I don't care. I've had this idea rattling around in my head for, 2 months, 3 months, way before I even started the show. I was sitting working and just talking to myself like, man, this would be a good title idea. And I wanted to share it because, I'm not starting a wrestling promotion. Freddie Prinze Jr. is. Maybe if he's listening, he can take this idea and run with it. I would gladly just let him have it. But okay, let's get into it. So a little context. I used to love MMA. I listened. I watched UFC all the time. I was a big fan. At some point, I think, honestly, as corny as it sounds, after I had a kid, I stopped liking UFC. The violence sort of put me off. I don't know. Maybe the father gene kicked in, and I couldn't watch people get brutalized anymore. But I still appreciate the art, the craft. I trained in MMA. I'm pretty good on the ground. I have pretty good stand-up too. But in MMA, I was always a fan of jiu-jitsu, submission, grappling, whatever you want to call it. And there is elements of that in professional wrestling, WWE. There are, submissions that are used as finishers, like Kurt Angle's ankle lock, or He Who Shall Not Be Named's crippler crossface, or Ronda Rousey's armbar, the STF. Is that John Cena's one? I can't remember what it was called. It was kind of a crossface, no? Undertaker had that weird demon triangle or whatever it was. It was some sort of... It wasn't a Darce choke. That's too intricate. It was a calf choke or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was bad. Every time the Undertaker did it, I'm like, what exactly is he doing? But there are finishing moves, but there aren't a lot of I Quit matches anymore. There aren't a lot of submission matches, and I don't know. There should be, and not in the sense that they're just trying to go for submissions, but a gimmick match where you had to tap out your opponent, or you had to have your opponent tap, kind of thing. And they have, they do have I Quit matches. They do have, people do submit, but there's no like specific. I was going to say vertical. That's such a technical term. There's no specific title or like realm for wrestlers to do that, right? I'm speaking solely for WWE, and I don't know what happens in Japan. This probably exists in Japan. I don't know. If it does, someone let me know in the comments. But I wanted to have either a submission title or revamp the hardcore title into what I would call the No Holds Barred Championship. And what that would entail is, let's split these two. Actually, I was gonna merge them together, but they're a little different, but also kind of the same. So the submission title would be a specific match where you can only win by submission. Not necessarily you just have to go in there and technical wrestle until you choke somebody out. No, you have a regular wrestling match, but each person is telling a story on how they're going to get their submission done. So if it's a submission match between, Chad Gable and, someone give me a wrestler. Whoever. How am I blank? It's Chad Gable versus Otis. I don't know. And Chad Gable is going for the ankle lock, right? The entire match, he would be targeting Otis's ankle. And if Otis is going for like a bear hug, I don't know. Does he have a submission match? Submission move? I don't know. He's going for a rollover takedown headlock. I don't know. He's going to be working Chad's neck, right? So the entire match is them telling a story of them trying to get the other person's limb weak enough so that they can slap on their submission and take them out. So then the submission title would go to anyone who can effectively target specific limbs like an assassin and then lock in a heel hook or something and get the submission, get the person to tap. I mean, you want to talk about drama. It's trying to figure out if a little guy or if a little dude like Rey Mysterio can tap out a Braun Strowman, can he fling his body at this big man's limb enough to weaken it so that he can get it ripe for a submission? And I think with the vacancy that the 24/7 title has left, thankfully, throw that green monstrosity in the trash and bring in a submission title. And then you can have, it doesn't have to be defended all the time, but it's definitely a workhorse type title that you can defend bi-monthly, or you can have tournaments of people. Again, I'm a big fan of tournaments. Have a tournament for whoever gets to challenge for it, and have stipulations for different submission matches along the way. Now, the other no holds barred title, I'm not suggesting both at the same time. I'm suggesting one or the other. So the no holds barred title is similar to the submission title, but it's a hardcore match. So you get to use whatever's underneath the ring, or you can bring a weapon to the ring, and then you basically just do the same thing as a submission match. Wear down your opponent's limbs or whatever and get them to submit. It's a no holds barred. That's what it means. There are no holds barred from the match. You can do any hold that you want. Over the years, no holds barred has become synonymous with just like hardcore, do whatever you want kind of match. So you kind of bring those two aspects together, and then you bring a kendo stick to the ring and just wail on someone's knee, whack, 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 and then do like a calf crush or something to target the knee and get the person to submit, or they don't submit and they get you in a submission, whatever. But the match has to end with someone tapping out or saying I quit. I think the no holds barred title should be an I quit match, where you literally make them say I quit, right? That would give the at least I quit matches some relevance. You can bring those back, attach them solely to the no holds barred championship title, and then you can have wrestlers who, like Mick Foley did, where he was specifically a hardcore title holder, specifically he was specialized in hardcore matches. That was his thing. Him, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, they were all hardcore personas. If you had a hardcore match with Mick Foley, he might not win, but he's definitely going to torture you because he's really good at it. So if you had a no holds barred champion, they're really, really good at targeting limbs with weapons and taking you out. The same with a submission championship. I think Chad Gable would be a fantastic entry into that, because submissions don't require size. Submissions don't require muscle, technically. They require positioning, and they require technique. You can tap out anyone. If you learn jiu-jitsu or anything, the first thing you learn is that size doesn't really matter. I've been tapped out by tiny people, way smaller than me. I've been tapped out by women. I've been tapped out. I almost got tapped out by a kid. It doesn't matter the size. I'm fairly big dude. I've been completely manhandled by people smaller than me in jiu-jitsu, because it's all about your positioning, it's all about your technique, and it's all about getting in the right place and you being in the wrong place. So I think Chad Gable, one, doesn't get enough flowers. Maybe we do an episode on Chad Gable, and he needs a title, and it has to be the submission title. What do you think? What new, brand fresh, spanking new title would you introduce to the world of pro wrestling? And what is there a match that goes with it? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to hit that bell, like, subscribe on YouTube so you get notified when we put up new content, or subscribe to the podcast on any podcast platform. We are everywhere, literally. This has been the O Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And remember, I'm your friend.
I'm your friend, but if I ever see you in the ring, I can beat you. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.